operatic soprano, and she says, make sure you are finished speaking before your audience has finished listening, which is always a good thing for us to remember here in Toastmasters. Let's all stand and have our pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag. Our Toastmaster for the day will be Ms. Wanda Simon, and I'll turn it over to her hand now. Wanda. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
How do you like the, yeah, I was testing her. What's your opinion on the agenda today? Anybody like the color?
Yeah, beautiful.
Our meeting, like our theme today is sort of like Valentine's Day, since it's the week of Valentine's. That's why it's all pink and everything. Plus, I thought that I would see if any of the guys would like put it beside, so that they didn't, because they didn't like pink. So we're going to start with the explanation of the all counters rule. So Jennifer, and with our word of the day is our grammarian, Nathaniel Noble.
Our word for the day is, which means
Thank you. That did the word of the day with fervor too. So. And as it says on the schedule, our Toastmaster Minute will be by Dave Rindy. Dave.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmaster. A tip to make you a better Toastmaster. If you just give a point, here a lot of times people will tell a great story, but there's no. My speech, some talked about a I'm going to anchor that point.
So we are moving into our speaker section of the program, and our first speaker is Phillip Borden. And Phillip says that one of his favorite things, he has many favorite things about Toastmasters, but one is speech number 10 in the Competent Communication Manual. He always enjoys a Toastmasters meeting with somebody who's given their speech number 10. So he's had this speech put together for a couple of months now and couldn't resist doing it today. And he gets Snickers because at the last minute, so welcome Phillip as he gives his speech titled Lighten Your Load.
You're the parent of a teenager. I don't have to tell you what phenomenally heavy backpack your fellow Toastmasters. I want to tell you wife Angie, we were at the school last August on a Saturday. Locker concept of decorating a school locker. Never have occurred to me water fountain in the gym locker room property. Dry erase board for standing there in awe of all of this, knowing that that's a very impressive locker. That locker is tricked out, let me tell you. Well, the concept of decorating a school locker is still all part of a plan that tell yourself it'll be out on an old country road, way out in the country, miles section. Well, he saw a young man walking along the side of the of all of that, much less side of the road to offer the young man very appreciative thing. got back out on the road, and I ever happened to notice it. Side of the road again. He got, buddy, there's plenty of room back here. Get your pack down beside you and lighten your load. So kind of me to give me. My mom still has some mom is cool again because she's got doesn't have a record. She's cool. Back when I was 8 or 9 years old, they play the lead guitar. Really what I thought it was saying. Drums, Scotty Moore plays the lead guitar. At some point I heard someone say, lead guitar. A little embarrassed at myself. In fact, if you had asked me I found a ride for me some of the people that I'm talking about who are so burdened down by life. I'm sure some of these God is big enough to carry. Not the lead guitar. It was never the lead guitar. It's the lead guitar. So step up to your stage of life and play it. Will it be a up to your stage of life.
Thank you, Phillip. And I'm a little concerned about your daughter. Is she in school today? All right. I was kind of distracted the whole speech because I was wondering where she had her books at. No, very good speech. Our speaker number 2 is James Hicks. And to introduce his speech, I have a question for you. The word love, we sometimes use it all the time. I love this, I love that, oh, I love Toastmasters, What is love? Do you know what love is? But James Hicks is going to enlighten us with the definition of love through understanding.
Madam Toastmaster, fellow HealthMasters and guests, thought it would be fitting for us today to discuss the understanding of love. In understanding love, I went to the dictionary first to get the definition. Love is defined as a noun or a verb, being an intense affection for or a romantic or sexual desire for. I read that a couple of times, try to get an understanding of it, but it still didn't really resonate in my heart what love really was. So I decided to think back over my life. And I thought, was love when I was in junior high school, passing notes back and forth to girls, asking them to check, yes, they wanted to be my girlfriend, maybe they wanted to be my girlfriend. I didn't give them the option for no because I didn't want the rejection. Could that have been love? How about the fact when I got my first kiss? Was that love? Could that have been love? Or even years down the line when I had my first intimate encounter. My mind got a little perplexed at that point because I didn't know or understand, could it have been love what led up to the intimate encounter, the actual act, or the feelings afterwards? Decided to step back, thinking that I was looking at it in the wrong context. So I thought about my parents, thought about my mother, the sacrifices that she gave to make sure that not only I, but my sisters had everything that we needed as we were coming up. Me, being the athlete, she made sure I had all the athletic apparel so I could play the sports that I wanted to play. Same with my sisters. She made dresses for them, for the debutantes, and different things of that nature. When I think of my father, him taking the time to teach me how to hunt, how to fish, how to work on vehicles. I do remember when he told my sisters, though, that they were old enough to date, but they had to bring that boy by to meet him before they could actually go out on a date. And I thought, was that love? Could any of that be love? Then I thought, well, what about the time when I got down on my knee and I gazed up into her eyes and I said something to the effect of, you're my sunshine. You provide meaning to my life. I want to be the joy when you wake up in the morning, and I want you to be the joy when I go to sleep at night. Would you be my wife? Could that have been love? Being the husband that I am, in the delivery room, as my daughters were being born, cutting the umbilical cords, holding this little precious baby in my arms. She's looking at me as she takes her first breath. I'm looking down at her, having all type of emotions and feelings. I'm your provider, your nurturer, your protector, your everything. Could that have been love? Then it kind of came to me, almost like an epiphany, a moment of clarity. In order to understand love, you've got to have 3 components. 1, you've got to love yourself. That may seem a little off-kilter or strange, but hopefully you're somewhat like me. You get up in the morning, go brush your teeth, looking in the mirror, you see yourself, you smile, you like what you see, but then there's a transition that takes effect at that point. You start to say different things to yourself. Well, I need to lose a little weight. I wish I was a little taller. I don't know what I'm going to do with my hair today. But to understand the personification of love that you give to others as well as receive, you got to first truly understand and appreciate the love that you have for yourself. Secondly, let's look at the actual letters, L-O-V-E. Respectively, let's look at L-I-V-E. Because in order to love, you have to live. And the evolution of love comes through your life experiences. So, when I got that first check box of that letter, and the girl said, yes, you wanted to be my girlfriend, that was love for that stage of my life. I was in love. When I got that first kiss, and the tingling sensation went over my body, that was love. When I reflect back on all that my parents gave, taught, shared with me, that embodied love. Now, I did get down on one knee. That had to be love because she said yes. And those of you that know me know that my daughters mean the world to me, so that has to be love also. But thirdly, love is free. You can love anybody and everybody. But love is almost like a circle, almost if you want to call it a cell. There are components in that cell that make up love. No amount of money, no materialistic object can extract, or that you can extract for those objects, those elements. Those elements consist of anger, frustration, jealousy, sadness, sorrow, and much more. Now, you all know a little over a month ago, I lost my father. And I deal with that sorrow and sadness, that pain, on a daily basis. There's not a day that goes by that I don't really think of him. But I'm able to deal with that because that's part of that circle of love. I love my dad, and I know he loves me. So my question is to you all, do you know love? Do you understand love? Because I do. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, James. Our next section is table topics. How many people want to wait just a couple minutes for table topics and hear a nice story that I heard on Facebook?
Sure.
It's
I didn't get anything. Oh, we want to go on table topics?
I just wanted to let you rest for a minute before you had to think you were going to be talking. So I saw this and I thought it really applied for Toastmasters and how we approach life. So a young woman went to her mother and told her about her life and how things were so hard for her. She did not know how she was going to make it and she wanted to give up. Her mother took her to the kitchen. She filled 3 pots with water. And forgive me if you've heard this before. She placed each on the high fire. Soon the pots came to a boil, and in the first she placed some carrots, the second eggs, and the third ground coffee beans. She set them to boil, and without saying a word, about 20 minutes later she turned off the burners. She took them all out of the pans and put them in bowls. Turning to her daughter, she asked, "Tell me what you see." "Carrots, eggs, and coffee." Her mother brought her closer and asked her to feel the carrots. She did, and she noted that they were all soft. The mother then asked her daughter to take an egg and break it. After pulling off the shell, she observed the hard-boiled egg. Finally, the mother asked the daughter to sip the coffee. The daughter smiled as she tasted its rich aroma with fervor, and daughter asked, "What does this all mean?" Her mother explained that each of these objects had faced the same adversity, boiling water. Each reacted differently. The carrot went in strong, hard, and unrelenting. However, after being subject to the boiling water, it softened and became weak. The egg had been fragile. Its outer shell had protected its liquid interior, but after setting through the boiling water, it became hardened inside. However, the ground coffee beans were unique. After they were in the boiling water, they didn't change. They changed the water. "Which are you?" she asked her daughter. "Are you the carrot that seems strong but with pain and adversity? Do you wilt and become soft and lose your strength? Are you the egg that starts with a malleable heart but changes with the heat? Do you have a fluid spirit, but after a death, a breakup, or financial hardship or other trial, do you become hardened and stiff? You look the same on the outside, but on the inside, deal with the stiff spirit? Or are you like the coffee bean that changes its circumstances, that brings the pain?" So if you are like the bean, when things are at your worst, you get better and you change the situation around you. So what are you, Toastmasters? Are you carrot's egg or a coffee bean? And with that, we'll welcome Shirley for our table topics, and she will explain what table topics is.
Last night, I say I have to see that you all know all these. Abby. Fly out. How could you guys know? Are you kidding? Yeah. I just want to test you guys. Max and kids. I didn't know this. Long time ago, I didn't like to cook at all. I like to cook because my friend come to eat. Oh, this food is good. So, and you guys, some of you guys have children. Oh, it would be nightmare. So you ask the kid, how's the food? What would you tell your friend?
Up next is our general evaluator. And by the way, I was talking to Ruby Brown right before I came down here. She was in the outside the canteen where Margaret's office is, where Margaret's canteen is. And I was talking to her about her position in prams and the fact that she gets all of Ruby Brown's emails and stuff like that. So, did you know there's 2 Ruby Browns in the health department now? So be very careful when you're emailing or calling that you want get the right Ruby Brown. And in this case, I hope I got the right picture on here. I wanted to point out to a couple people who have not uploaded their pictures to the Toastmasters website that I took the liberty of going out on the directory and putting your pictures on here. So, welcome Ruby Brown as a general evaluator.
Yes, Madam Toastmaster is correct. While I was out on sick leave, my staff informed me that my email was looking kind of funny. And come to find out that Ruby Brown is Ruby D. Brown. They have her listed, and so I'm listed as Ruby J. Brown. So with that information, yes, because right now my emails are going to her because people are just clicking on Ruby Brown. I've been here so long, they used to just one, but now there's 2 of us, and she's a wonderful person. With that, as the general evaluator, I just like to say thus far, everything has been wonderful. The information has been very informative, and Phillip took us back in time with being in school, and I would never ever thought to decorate my locker neither. So it's a new thing with the young people. With James' speech, awesome about love, and what a perfect time to talk about love, the month of February. With that being said, we're moving on. At this time, we will have our first evaluator to come forth, David Rumbley, who will evaluate the speech of Phillip Borden. Thank you.
General evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guests, especially Phillip. Tell a story, make a point. Remember that? Phillip did that, didn't he? Didn't he tell a story and he made a point? Perfect reinforcement of what we talked about earlier. I thought that he did a good job with a personal story about his daughter, and I felt like I was there because he had the backpack, talked about the locker. It was a great visual aid also, and a good metaphor for having a load. When you actually have a backpack and you can, I remember what that was like, a heavy backpack like that. That's tough. I haven't had a backpack like that since college, but I remember. Do you remember what it was like to carry around a backpack? Still do? For what? Is that right? Also, I liked how Phillip asked questions. He had questions for us, so that helped us think. Remember that some rhetorical questions. Very good questions. And they involved me. And then he had that really good phrase, I thought. Basically, don't take the lead, but take the lead. That was memorable. I like that. Basically, don't take the lead, take the lead. I don't know if you said that exactly, but that's a great way to weave through that speech. And I think the only thing to make it even better, maybe a bit more energy at times, a bit more vocal variety to kind of drive the point up. You don't have to be forceful, but just maybe a little bit of a change of pace, maybe a little bit. But overall, great job, visual aids, personal story, memorable phrase. Look forward to more speeches. Madam General Evaluator.
Next, we will go to our second evaluator, which is Gloria Bastidas, and she will evaluate James Hicks.
Well, I will evaluate James and titled The Definition of Love Through Understanding. I told him since the beginning, I say, you know, as soon as I saw that one in our web, when I signed for my role today, it was very touching. It was very interesting, and interesting because this time of the year, and because I think it's, love is in our lives. Great. The topic appropriate, good for this time of the year. Something interesting. You give us the sense that the love and through since the beginning, how you understand love. So I think it was very nice. The purpose was the vocal priority. I didn't see much, but it was pleasant, it was clear, it was nice. And so I said that one, it was very, you accomplished the goal because, it says that it should be pleasant, it should be nice. I love it. I think it was a great, it was profound, and I like the speech because I like maybe think about love. And also you say something very important, it's free and it's a circle. So I think it's something we need to think about it every day. It is simple, we can give it and receive it, and it's the message that I have from you. So thank you for that speech.
We'd just like to thank David and Gloria for those two evaluations. At this time, we would like our report from Nathaniel Noble. If he could come forward, please. Thank you.
My grammarian's report today is pretty short. We actually had two people use the word of the day. Both Wanda and Phillip used the word of the day today. If I go to the speeches, starting with Phillip's speech, he used the term tricked out, which caught my ear because he's talking about his daughter in the locker, and it sounds like something a kid would say, the term tricked out, so I thought it was perfect to throw that in there. He used a idiomatic expression. He said quite a lot, but the reason it caught my ear is because you don't hear Phillip make idiomatic expressions. He's more like an English teacher when he talks. There's nothing wrong with the expression. It's almost a change there, and it caught my ear. With James, he got a little comfortable and said how about instead of how about when he said something. And he mentioned sacrifice she gave, but the word gave is kind of built into the word sacrifice. So I guess normally we would say sacrifice she made. Not that I could say that's wrong, but the word gave is actually built into the word sacrifice. And that's my grammarian report today. No grammar mistakes as usual with these guys. So, all right.
At this time, Ms. Joyce will come forth with our timers report. Thank you, Ms. Joyce.
All.
Good afternoon. At all.
My timers report. We'll start with Phillip. His speech, time I have is 9 minutes and 5 seconds, but that's probably off a little bit because of technical difficulties when we started. James's speech was 7 minutes and 2 seconds. As far as table topics, these initial table topic I did not time, but then when she went to Tanisha, she spoke for 29 seconds. Then for evaluation, David Brudney evaluated for his evaluation report was 1 minute and 50 seconds. Gloria's evaluation report was 1 minute and 52 seconds. Nathaniel's grammarian report was 59 seconds, and I didn't time myself.
At this time, everything has been completed according to the outline or the agenda, and at this time I want to turn it back over to our Toastmaster of the day.
We do have a little bit of time. I have a question. We've heard today twice that love is free. Is that true, or does it cost? Thought. And I also wanted to give our guest Okay, well, in Sunday school, I've been teaching the kids about peace and letting go of what's not there. So if you'd like to come on Sunday, go ahead. Yes. Oh, and you got one too. Yeah, okay. Anyway, I'm going to turn it back over. I'm going to turn it back over to our grammarian / president, Nathaniel Noble.
Another great meeting as usual. At this time, I want to give our guest a moment to stand, let Ruby introduce her guests, and let her say a couple of words if you like. Ashley Young. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for coming. I don't want to put you on the spot, but you have an idea for someone who might be in that situation. What did you present to us? Or send out an email to us? Just a little quick blurb of an idea you had. Yeah. 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 Sure. Had a great idea you shared with us.
There's a project that I need to work on to complete one of my goals between now and the end of the year, which is June 30th. And the one that seemed the best for the club is called Speechcraft. It's a mini program of 4, 6, or 8 weeks for non-Toastmasters members. So this wouldn't be for us to go through. It would be for us to think about something like 5 to 10 people here in the health department that maybe have thought about Toastmasters and have been to a meeting, or maybe thought about Toastmasters and not done anything with it, who might be interested in a self-contained 6 or so week program where you could do miniature versions of some of the speeches that we've seen today, like maybe a 2-minute speech as your icebreaker, or a 2 or 3 minute speech on vocal variety instead of a 7-minute speech. And for each of those 6 weeks, I'm pretty sure the program is every speech crafter gives a mini speech in every meeting, and then at the end of 6 weeks, you get a certificate, you get something you could put on your resume, you get a chance to accomplish some of those goals, like overcoming the fear of public speaking, or more practice putting a speech together and getting evaluated for it. There's a Speechcraft manual, and so the cost would be, it would be a minimal cost just to cover the cost of the materials, but there'd be a separate cost for that, so it wouldn't be a cost for the club to be able to put that on. It would basically pay for itself. What else did we want to bring up? There are some other questions later that we'll resolve later. One big one is, if we do this, would we incorporate it into 6 of our Monday meetings? If so, that would probably leave just an opportunity for one member to do a manual speech, or would we maybe do Speechcraft on a Friday at noon for those weeks? So we can talk about specifics like that, but you can go ahead and be thinking about who you might invite, and we'll, if we do this, we'll look at it as an opportunity to, that was the other thing I was going to tie in quickly, is an opportunity to bring members into the club itself, because if you complete Speechcraft and get that certificate, you can use that for credit toward your first 3 competent communicator speeches. So if you were to join the club after that, you're ready to start working on speech 4, and you're that much closer to achieving your competent communicator. And so a lot of clubs really use that, even if they don't have, there are some clubs, I think, in our division that try to do Speechcraft once a year, even if someone doesn't need that in terms of leading a project, just because hopefully it generates 2 or 3 new members a year for the club. Any questions while that's on?
Appreciate you. I just wanted him to stand and give that idea. That way we're thinking along that lines. If there's anybody we come across and we know we're trying to bring something forward, just let them know we have an idea in play. And if you're interested, we can get you more information about it. And as a visitor today, make sure we get your email address so we can send you a message as well. Is there anything that we need updated on, Joyce, for this contest?
Speech contest. With David.
We meeting next week? Is Monday a holiday?
Have a copy of it. If you-
Who's speaking next week? Who's all speaking next week? Who, me?
Can you read?
Okay, for next. Our counter.
I'll be prepared. Okay. What the way they're doing it now is Phillip sent out a mass one a few weeks ago, probably before you. Well, yeah. Well, before we, I guess, I don't know if you were at the meeting. He made the announcement about it. Is what I'm saying. And just look at this, if you can resend it, just look at the sheet and see what days you have something down. If you know there's always a conflict of interest, or as you come up, you know there's a conflict of interest, you know the normal protocol for that. Okay. So if you don't mind, maybe somebody's misplaced it in their emails, just send it out again today. Just the same one, just resend it. Okay. We're okay. Okay. We're here Tuesday?
No, in the.
Okay. Is there anything else we need to cover?
Just want to mention quickly. Something for us. Don't feel like
We're in the
there anything else we need to discuss? Just a quick recap. We'll make sure. Every day's Gene Day in the lab, so we don't get nothing out of that. We are special over there. Not that I wear jeans, but just a recap. Phillip will send out the information. We'll make sure we get our email from our visitor. And next week is going to be a Tuesday meeting in the lab training room, 2508. Right. Is there anything else we need to hit? Okay. This meeting is adjourned.